Welcome. This video describes and demonstrates System Group's enrolment process for new apprentices. You'll use our Aptem system for your enrolment, enrolling you onto your program, and you'll use Aptem for your learning delivery. If you haven't already received one, you'll get a link to complete the referral form. And once you've completed that, you'll then receive a welcome email and an email for you to register on the Aptem system. Once you've registered, we'll ask you to do your initial assessment and enter some additional personal and experience details. Following that, there'll be a face-to-face session with your enroller, and you can ask them any questions you have, or then carry on your enrolment by asking to look at your ID. We'll go over your initial assessment, we'll recap your learning record, we'll do the skill scan for this particular program, we'll discuss any policies and support you need. Also, we'll get your consent to various items and you'll sign this particular document. Now, signing will be for the learner and the line manager. Once that's successfully completed, we'll put you onto your delivery program, and then you'll have to sign some additional documents, for example, the training plan document and the apprenticeship agreement. After that, we'll then move on to your first learning session. The referral form will look something like this. You should enter your name, surname, and other details. Select your employer and carry on entering the details until you get to the end, and then you click Submit. Once the enrolment team have had a look at your referral form, you'll then receive a welcome email and an Aptem email. On the screen now, I've received the welcome email from Aptem. I'm going to click on the Activate Account button. It'll ask me to enter a password. So I'm going to put in a password, and I have to type it twice to make sure I've got it right. Do it again. Yeah, and then click register. And then you'll be asked to record some more information. For example, if you've not already entered it, your address. I'm going to just use a postcode and then select an address. Then the title, date of birth, telephone number, click next, and then you have to enter your signature. Now, this is the signature that you'll be using on all the documents you're going to sign in Aptem. And when you've done that, you can click Finish. The next step is that you will go through a number of forms asking you some more information about yourself. So I'm going to quickly go through these. If you're entering a system group for a driving course, please do click Yes to this question, and then you'll be asked for some more information about your driving license. So I'll just do those. Please make sure your answers are honest. When you're ready to go on to the next page, click Next. If you've missed out any questions, there'll be some red text that appears on the screen next to the question that you've missed out. Now this form, make sure you sign it, click next. As part of your enrolment, you'll be asked to do an initial assessment, and that's all about your functional skills, which are essentially maths and English. We'll ask you to do 2 sets of questions, 1 set of English, 1 set of maths. If you click on these buttons, you'll be taken to another service called Skills Forward, and then just accept the terms and conditions, click update, and then you'll be taken to a page that has got your English assessment and your maths on it. Ignore the ICT. Click on each of these in turn and complete those. Then when you've done both of them, come back to Aptem and go on to the next page. Make sure you do have a computer, a laptop, desktop or a tablet to complete your apprenticeship. Note that a smartphone is insufficient. So I do have one. Click next. If you have a copy of your CV and or job description stored electronically, it can be useful to load those, but it's not essential. Here is a link to our apprenticeship handbook. Please take an opportunity to read this, because there's some very useful information about how to complete the program and some of our policies and support. And then complete some of the consents. Your personal learning record is a record that the government keeps of your qualifications. So this is just giving us permission to access those records. And that's confirmation that you've understood the privacy statement of that learning record service run by the government. And I'll just agree to the other consents. You should read these as you go through and click next. And here, the last step is telling us we are going to click finish. After clicking finish, you'll see this individual learner record page, and it displays the information that you just entered. Scroll down and click here in the blue click here to sign box, and your signature will appear, and click save. Then the relax page is displayed, and so please wait while your enrolment coordinator at System Group goes through your answers, and then we'll be sending you further information about the next step. So at this point, you've completed the referral form, you've registered on Aptem and completed your initial assessment and some questions, and the enrolment team have had a look at your answers. And the next step is the face-to-face session. Your enroller will organise a meeting with you and your line manager. And this meeting will be face-to-face or via Teams. Your enroller will share their screen and they'll take you through step by step, asking you to clarify and to help us understand some of the information you entered, and gather some more information from you and discuss the suitability of the program. When the enroller shares their screen, you'll see something like this. And there'll be some introductions that they'll talk you through. One of the first things they'll do in this session is they'll confirm who your coach is going to be and who your support or learning experience officer will be. I'm just going to say it'll be Emil for the coach and Fran for your experience officer. They'll then ask you some employment questions that the line manager will probably help you with. I'm not going to go through every question today, but I'm going to demonstrate the sections we'll go through. So let's say that these questions have been answered. Note that to be on an apprenticeship, you must be on your employer's PAYE scheme, in other words, have a contract of employment. We'll ask you about your shift, so it's useful to know your working hours. Also, some questions, for example, your proportion of your working week spent in England. We have to ask you these because the Education Skills and Funding Agency, the part of the government, requires us to ask these questions to check your suitability and eligibility. After the employment questions, your enroller would ask you some residency questions. This is where you need to bring your ID, which typically would be your passport, with you. So I'll just say it's a UK passport. If you had a non-UK passport, you may be required to provide some additional information. So for example, if you've got an EU passport, will require a share code. And we'll look at the picture on your passport and we'll look at you over the video conference in Teams to make sure that the ID is for you. We'll look at your personal learning record. And this is where we look at the government's learning record system to see if they have any records of your previous qualifications. We'll ask questions about if you've had any sort of other relevant roles that might help you on the apprenticeship or might have actually helped you cover some of the material already that we're going to cover in the apprenticeship. I'll just put some information in here. Then we'll take you to the skills radar. Now, the skills radar looks at what's called the knowledge, skills and behaviours of the apprenticeship. So we want to find out roughly what your experience is and what your level is today. And so for each of these knowledge, skills and behaviours, we'll try and we'll have a discussion with you whether you've got somewhat or a low level of knowledge to you've got a high level of knowledge and experience already in that level. Then we'll recap the functional skills, the maths and English assessment that you took earlier, and we'll talk about that. And then we'll discuss whether there's further maths and English work and training that you'll need to do as part of the apprenticeship. We'll discuss if you've got any additional support needs, if there's any other support we need to provide. We'll go over a variety of health and safety questions. We'll have a quick recap to make sure you do have a laptop, desktop or tablet and gauge your sort of confidence in using computers. We'll recap some of the key policies and remember that these policies are mentioned in the learner handbook that you had a links to earlier in the enrolment process. will summarize your prior learning and experience and how it may affect the nature of your program and what you'll be studying and how many hours you'll be studying. And that's all part of reductions. Then we'll go over one final set of confirmations and consents. Again, when you do this, make sure you read and understand them. Your employer has to consent as well. They'll be supporting you through the apprenticeship. We'll make a decision whether this is the right program and you're able to proceed, and then we'll move on to the next steps. When your enroller has completed all the sections, they'll then click Finish in the bottom right hand corner. Complete that. And the system will produce a form which contains all the information that's been entered so far. And the enroller will just scroll through this. To the bottom to the signature section. You can see here that the enroller is going to click here to sign, and they'll click Save. Now you as the learner will get notified that you have to sign the document now, and also the line manager will be informed as well. So let's have a look at that. Now I've switched back to the learners window and I'm logged on as the learner. And if you look in the top right hand corner, you can see there's this bell with a small red number that's flashing, and that's the notification. So if I click on that, it shows me that I need to sign something. So my enroller has signed that document and I've had a notification to sign it as well. So when I log on, I'll go to my notifications. I can see that a signature is required. I'll click View and Sign, and I get to see exactly the same document. And I can scroll down to the end, and here the participant or learner, I can click there to sign and click Save. The line manager will get exactly the same notification to their Aptem account, and so they should log on promptly as well and look at their notifications and sign. So we're almost done. We've completed that face-to-face session and we've signed the document. And so we're now here, and the enroller is going to do some setup for your program. They'll put you on the program, they'll add the functional skills components, they'll set the dates, and they'll enroll you on the program. Once they've done that, you'll need to sign your training plan document. So let's have a look at that. So back to the learner view, the next time the learner logs on to Aptem, they'll be prompted to sign their compliance documents. So if I just click Finish here, the first document we're prompted to sign is the training plan document, which is a summary of all the details that have been entered so far. And again, scroll through this. You've got a copy of your learning plan, key progress reviews, and then the apprentice will click in the click here to sign box and save it. The line manager will also get a notification in Aptem that they have to sign the training plan document. They should do that promptly. The learner is then prompted to sign the apprenticeship agreement in the same way and click Save. And again, the line manager is prompted to do that as well. And then lastly, the learner has the individual learning record again with any updates on it. Again, scroll down and click in the signing box and save. Now that's the last 3 enrolment documents signed. And now the learner can get logged on to their program. If they go onto the left-hand side of the screen and click the Learning Plan button, they'll see all their learning activities, which we'll cover in another video. But the most interesting one here is the first day of learning activity, which has material that you'll cover shortly after enrolment with the assistance of your enroller. So that's the end of this video. Hopefully that's helped you understand the steps in the Aptem enrolment process. There'll be other videos available to you that your enroller will share with you as part of the enrolment process.